The Thanksgiving table stretched across my dining room, laden with food I'd spent 2 days preparing. My sister Jennifer sat at the head, one hand protectively cradling her 6-month-old daughter while the other gestured dismissively toward my twins playing quietly in the corner. "We need to talk about living arrangements," Jennifer announced, her voice cutting through the family chatter. "My baby needs proper space. A nursery. Room to grow." I set down the gravy boat carefully. "Your apartment has 2 bedrooms. "Exactly. One for us, one for storage. We can't have a baby sharing space with boxes." She looked at Mom, who nodded encouragingly. "Your kids are older. They can share one room. We need your 2nd bedroom." My twins, Emma and Lucas, were 7. They each had their own small room in my modest 2-bedroom apartment down the hall from Jennifer's larger unit. "They already share everything else," I said quietly. "Their rooms are their only private spaces." "Children don't need privacy at that age," Mom interjected. "Jennifer's baby is an infant. Completely different needs." My brother David smirked from across the table. "Come on, Sarah. Be reasonable. Your kids are in school all day anyway. What do they need separate rooms for? Besides," Jennifer continued, "I've been thinking about this building situation. It's not really fair." "What situation?" I asked. "You living here rent-free while the rest of us pay. Just because you help the landlord with bookkeeping doesn't mean you should get special treatment." I'd been managing the building's finances for 3 years. Rent collection, maintenance scheduling, vendor payments, tax documentation. The previous owner had valued my accounting background. "I pay rent," I said. "Barely anything, I'm sure." Jennifer waved her hand. "The point is, my baby deserves better than what we can currently provide. And you're hoarding space." "Hoarding," I repeated. 2 bedrooms for 3 people when we have 3 people crammed into 2 bedrooms. The baby sleeps in our room. It's not sustainable." Aunt Linda joined in. "Jennifer has a point, Sarah. Babies need so much equipment. Cribs, changing tables, monitors. Where does she put it all?" "In the nursery she should have," Jennifer answered. "Which is why I'm giving you notice. 1 month to consolidate your kids into 1 room. I'll take over the lease on your 2nd bedroom. We can work out a fair price." The absurdity almost made me laugh. "You want to rent my daughter's bedroom?" "I want what's best for my child. Something you'd understand if you prioritized properly." She looked pointedly at my twins, who had stopped playing to listen. "Your kids will be fine sharing. Mine needs proper accommodations." "The building doesn't work that way," I said. "Then we'll talk to the landlord about transferring space. I'm sure they'll be reasonable once they understand an infant's needs come before elementary school children's wants." Mom reached over and squeezed Jennifer's hand. "You're such a good mother. Always putting your baby first." "Someone has to think about the children's welfare," Jennifer said, looking directly at me. I stood and began clearing plates. In the kitchen, I could hear them continuing the conversation, discussing paint colors for the nursery and furniture arrangements. My hands shook slightly as I scraped leftovers into containers. Emma appeared beside me. "Mom, do I have to give up my room?" "No, sweetheart. Aunt Jennifer said we're being selfish." "You're not selfish for wanting your own space." Lucas joined us. "She said babies are more important than big kids." "Every child is important," I told them both. "Go finish your pie." When I returned to the dining room, Jennifer had a document on the table. "I had my lawyer draw this up. Just a formality. It specifies the room transfer, new rent allocation, and timeline for your compliance." "Compliance," I said. 1 month, Sarah. Plenty of time to rearrange furniture." She slid the paper across the table. "Sign here." I picked up the document. It was surprisingly detailed, specifying exact measurements of Emma's room, proposed monthly charges, even paint color approval requirements. "You've put a lot of thought into this." "I'm thorough. My baby deserves thorough planning." She pulled out a pen. "Let's make it official." "Before I sign anything," I said carefully, "I should mention something about the building." "What about it?" "The ownership changed last month." Jennifer frowned. "So, that doesn't affect tenant arrangements." "We'll explain to the new landlord." The previous owner retired. Sold the property to someone local who understood its value. Great. New landlord, fresh start. They'll probably appreciate tenants who maximize space efficiently. Jennifer tapped the document. Sign. The thing is, I continued, watching her confident expression, the new owner is very particular about lease modifications. I'm sure we can negotiate. Who is it? Some investment company. Not exactly. Mom leaned forward. Sarah, just sign the paper. You're making this difficult for no reason. I can't sign a lease modification, I said, because I don't have authority to alter my own property agreements. The room went quiet. What? Jennifer's pen paused midair. The building. I bought it last month. The previous owner gave me first option because of my management work. I'd been saving for years. David laughed. You can barely afford your own rent. I could barely afford rent, I corrected. Past tense. I took out a mortgage, used my savings for the down payment. The building appraised well below market because of deferred maintenance, which I'd already documented. That made it affordable. Jennifer's face had gone pale. You're joking. The deed transferred on October 15th. I'm still learning the full scope of ownership responsibilities, but I'm getting there. This is insane, Jennifer said. You can't own this building. The county records disagree. So does my mortgage company. Mom stood up. Sarah, if this is true, then you absolutely should give Jennifer that room. You own the building. You can do whatever you want with the space. Actually, I can't. Each unit has a legal lease agreement, including mine and Jennifer's. I can't arbitrarily change room allocations within leased apartments. But you're the landlord, Aunt Linda said. Which means I'm bound by landlord-tenant law. I can't enter Jennifer's apartment without notice. I can't modify her lease without mutual agreement. And I definitely can't force my children out of their bedrooms in my own leased unit to accommodate her preferences. Jennifer's hands were shaking now. Wait, if you own the building, that means our rent goes to me, yes. Along with everyone else's. The building has 12 units. Yours is the largest 3-bedroom on the top floor. The most expensive unit, David said slowly. Market rate for the neighborhood. You negotiated your lease 3 years ago when rates were lower. It's actually below current market value. Jennifer's lawyer-prepared document lay on the table between us. I picked it up again, reading her proposed terms more carefully. This is interesting, I said. You wanted to charge me $400 monthly to lease my daughter's bedroom. But your current rent for a 3-bedroom is $1,800. So, Jennifer snapped. So a single bedroom in a 2-bedroom unit shouldn't cost nearly a quarter of a 3-bedroom's total rent. The math doesn't work. I set the paper down. Unless you were planning to profit from my daughter's space while still paying your own lower rent. Mom reached for the document. Let me see that. Also, I continued, your lease comes up for renewal in February. 3 months from now. Jennifer's eyes widened. You wouldn't. Wouldn't what? Raise my rent. Kick me out. That's vindictive. I wouldn't kick you out for no reason. That's illegal. But I will be bringing all units up to current market rates at renewal time. The building appraiser valued your apartment at $2,300 per month based on size and location. That's $500 more than I pay now. It's market rate. Everyone's lease will adjust accordingly. I'm actually required to charge fair market value for tax purposes. David cleared his throat. What about us? Our lease. Yours renews in April. 2-bedroom units are appraising at $1,900. You currently pay $1,500. A $400 increase? His smirk had vanished completely. I'll work with everyone on the timeline. Maybe phase increases over 2 years. But yes, the building has been undercharging for a while. It's why the previous owner sold. He couldn't afford maintenance at current rent levels. Mom set down the document with shaking hands. Sarah, you can't do this to family. I'm not doing anything to family. I'm running a business according to legal requirements and market standards. We'll move out, Jennifer said. All of us. You'll have empty units. That's your choice. Though finding 3-bedroom apartments in this neighborhood under $2,500 is difficult. I checked. I started gathering dessert plates. I'm happy to keep you all as tenants at fair market rates. Good tenants who pay on time are valuable. You've been planning this, Jennifer accused. Waiting to trap us. I've been saving money and working extra hours to afford a property investment. You've been planning to take my daughter's bedroom and charge me for it. I looked at her lawyer document again. This is dated 2 weeks ago. You've been planning this since before Thanksgiving. Aunt Linda stood abruptly. I think we should go. Dessert is still out, I offered. I've lost my appetite. She grabbed her coat. Come on, Jennifer. Let's get the baby home. Jennifer gathered her daughter and the diaper bag, her movements jerky with anger. At the door she turned back. This isn't over. Your lease ends February 28th, I said. You'll receive renewal terms by January 15th as legally required. 60 days notice. I meant about the room. That was over before it started. My children's housing isn't negotiable. After they left, David remained at the table. You really bought the building? Mortgage documents are in my office if you want to see them. And you're really raising everyone's rent? To market rate, yes. The building needs significant work. New roof next spring, updated electrical facade repairs. That requires income. He was quiet for a moment. I make comments sometimes. About your job, your situation. I didn't realize that I was saving every extra dollar for 3 years. Working weekend bookkeeping clients. Driving a 12-year-old car while you bought new. Yeah. People see what they expect to see. Mom hadn't moved from her chair. You let us believe you were struggling. I was struggling. Struggling to save enough for a down payment while raising 2 kids alone and managing a building's worth of financial records. I sat back down across from her. You assumed struggle meant failure. Jennifer is going to be very upset about this rent increase. Jennifer tried to legally compel me to give her my daughter's bedroom and pay her for the privilege. I think she'll survive adjusting to market rate rent. She's your sister. Which is why I'll give her the same phase-in option I'm giving everyone else. A 2-year gradual increase instead of an immediate jump to market rate. That's family consideration. And if she can't afford it? Then she makes the same decisions any tenant makes. Smaller apartment, different neighborhood, roommate, second job. Adult choices. Mom stood slowly. You've changed. I bought a building and set boundaries. That's not change, that's growth. After everyone left, I found Emma and Lucas in the living room, pretending to watch television but clearly listening to every word. Is Aunt Jennifer mad? Emma asked. Aunt Jennifer is surprised. There's a difference. Are we keeping our rooms? Lucas wanted to know. Yes, boys. Those are your spaces. Emma climbed into my lap despite being almost too big for it. You were really quiet when she was being mean. Sometimes being quiet is powerful. I knew something she didn't. That you own the building? That her plan couldn't work no matter how loud she got about it. Lucas considered this. So you didn't need to yell because you had the real power? Something like that. The next morning my phone started ringing early, Jennifer, then Mom, then Aunt Linda. I let them go to voicemail while I made breakfast for the kids. By noon, Jennifer had sent 4 text messages ranging from angry to pleading. The last one read, "Can we please talk about this reasonably?" I replied, "Lease renewal terms will arrive by January 15th as required by law. All other building matters go through the management company." You're the management company. Yes. And I keep business and family separate. Your rent is a business matter. 3 days later, a formal letter arrived from Jennifer's lawyer requesting lease modification discussions. I forwarded it to my own lawyer, who sent a polite response explaining that single-room lease transfers within multi-room units weren't legally viable and that all lease renewals would follow standard procedures. Christmas was awkward. Jennifer barely spoke to me. Mom kept making comments about family helping family, until I reminded her that she'd applauded when Jennifer tried to take Emma's room. That was different, Mom protested. How? She couldn't answer. On February 1st I sent out renewal letters. Jennifer's new rate, $2,100 monthly phased, $150 the first year, $200 the second. Below market but sustainable. She called immediately. I can't afford this. You can't afford market rate of $2,300. This is a family discount. Some discount. $500 more over 2 years. You were willing to charge me $400 for a single bedroom. This is a 3-bedroom apartment. Silence. The building needs maintenance, Jennifer. Real maintenance. The roof leaks. The electrical is outdated. The facade needs work. I can give you fair family rates, but I can't lose money to subsidize your housing. What if I can't pay? Then we discuss options. Smaller unit when one opens. Payment plans. But those are business discussions, not Thanksgiving dinner topics. She hung up without answering. 2 weeks later she signed the renewal. So did David, Aunt Linda and every other tenant. Some grumbled. None left. The building improvements started in March. New roof installation took 3 weeks. Tenants complained about the noise until they stopped hearing drips during rainstorms. The electrical upgrades came next, done in phases to minimize disruption. Jennifer's unit was last, which she protested, until I pointed out that it meant she'd have the longest period without construction interruption. By summer the building looked different. Fresh paint on the facade. Updated hallway lighting. Repairs that had been deferred for years finally addressed. Property value increased. So did tenant satisfaction, even with the higher rents. Emma's room stayed exactly as it was, painted pale yellow with stars on the ceiling. Lucas kept his blue space-themed walls. And I kept the building running, one maintenance issue and one fair lease at a time. Jennifer still lived upstairs with her growing daughter. We were cordial at family events, professional about building matters. She never mentioned the housing contract again. The document stayed in my desk drawer anyway. A reminder that sometimes the quietest person in the room holds all the deeds.